Hi, I'm Jennifer Sir of the Sewing Room in Alameda, California, and again, it's time for Monday Mending. So today I'm working on a pair of pants. They are sweatpants. Here they are. I'm going to show you. They're my daughter's sweatpants. And she has a little worn out spot in the bottom area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. So here we go. I could mend this two different ways. I could do it with a patch, or I could take the seam apart and then just pinch out a little bit and re-stitch the seam, which is actually what I'm going to do because she wants it to be less noticeable, and I think with a patch on it, it's going to be very noticeable. She wears these pants all the time. So let's do some invisible mending. Okay, so I've gone ahead and did a little seam ripping before I got started, so this video wasn't going to take that long, but literally I've just spent 5 minutes seam ripping the seat of these pants. So the first thing I did was I seam ripped the top stitching for about 2 inches on either end of where the holes were. So I have about a 4 or 5 inch hole right here. But first I seam ripped the top stitching, and then I undid the serging that was on the inside so that the seam could open up. So right now what I need to do is I need to move this area out of the way. So what I'm going to do is just, and as I'm noticing here, we have an area that is, you can see it on this side, the French terry is really worn down. So I'm wondering if there's a way that I can reinforce that, but maybe not for this pair of pants because I think Emma might end up seeing that. But I could do a patch inside that's just stitched down with t-shirt material, and I think I have a scrap of t-shirt material, and that would reinforce this area. And you know, I don't think she's really going to see that because the stitching will be on the outside, but it'll blend in to the French terry. So I'm going to go grab a piece right now, and we're going to do that first. So I did end up finding a little piece of gray French terry in my stash, and I do keep old t-shirts, broken down t-shirts or extra fabric scraps from the shop around just for this purpose, and also small scraps make good doll clothes. But anyways, I've collected a little piece and I've put it over the area that was wearing thin, and I'm going to show you quickly what it is. So you can see that the fabric has really just worn off in this area, so it's prone to get a hole in it again soon. So what we'll do is we'll just cover that up with a patch on the inside, and I think it'll extend the life of this garment just a little bit longer. So with a straight stitch on my machine, I'm going to just sew around this patch, being careful not to let anything get folded over or lumpy. So take the front part off, and I have matching light gray thread on the machine. I'm just slipping it in here, and it does help to take the front off so you have free arm sewing, and it might even help to turn the pants all the way inside out because these legs are getting in the way. So, oh, and I found another hole. I'm gonna have to patch that later. Once we get it in the machine, I'm just going to do a stitch right around the outside, probably 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the fabric patch. And because it's a knit, a French terry knit, it's not going to fray, so I didn't have to turn the edges under or anything. And you know, if I wanted it a little bit stronger, I would have used a fusible web just to fuse it in place. But I think it'll be softer this way. And and less visible as well, because that fusible web would have made it a little bit too stiff. I'm going to turn, and I'm just going to sew it kind of more like a wedge. I don't think anybody's going to be the wiser because of this. That part of this mending job is done. So I'll pull it off the machine, trim my threads, I'll take the pins out. So let's just do that, and let's take a look at that from the outside. Okay, so from the outside, this is what it looks like. It's just a stitch line, and I think it's going to be very, very, very hard to see. So that's patch number 1. Okay, so patch number 2 that we're going to do is actually this little section here. So what I'm doing, show you, is I'm just going to move this seam, this edge, this part with the holes in it to the edge of the fabric. I'm going to pin it in place, and because it's kind of a stretchy fabric and it's pretty loose fitting on her, I don't think she's going to notice that little bit of ½ inch that is going to be missing, ½ inch of fabric. So right there. And what I'll do is I'll just do my seam line, my straight stitch seam line, and I can finish it by either zigzagging or serging it. But I think I'm going to zigzag since I'm right here. And I'm sewing on that original ½ inch seam. I'm going to then very carefully trim off this part that has the holes in it. Switch to zigzag. Zigzag that edge. And then, to finish it, after I zigzag that edge, I'm just going to redo the top stitch that was originally on that center back seam. And then it will look like nothing ever happened. Change it back to straight stitch. And you can see, look, no holes in the seam, but we do want to stitch down that seam allowance. And for this, I'm going to turn the garment inside out again because it's easier to see what's in front of you if you do it on the inside while it's turned inside out, or on the outside while it's turned inside out. So I'm going right to the spot where the top stitching ended. Switching, I'm going to extend my stitch length because the top stitching on these pants is kind of a longer stitch length, and so I'm just redoing that stitch length, or redoing the top stitch, not the stitch length. Trimming my threads. thread trimming. And in less than 10 minutes, I've mended 2 parts of my daughter's pants. So here you go. You can see no holes, and that crotch area has been reinforced. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.